Give thanks. Give thanks and praise to the mystic laws of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, and positive. We do give thanks and praise. Great uprising, great uprising, great uprising, grand rising, free people, greetings across the earth. Well, we have to say give thanks again. West Indian paradigm, yeah, man, is an Indian paradigm for us, and you can either take it or leave it, but this is what it is for us. Now, we'll discover, any chance the foreign oppressive system gets to criminalize or dehumanize us as a people who are Indians originally, then they're going to take advantage of it. One of their main, modem of operation is the bond system, where them try to kidnap you unlawfully, illegally, and drag you through them illegal court process. So we're going to touch upon bonds, surety bond, basic, surety, and suretyship. What is suretyship? Suretyship is a concept of being liable for the default of another. Again, surety is a concept, make sure I have the right thing, of being liable for the default of another. Now, what is a surety bond? A surety bond is a legally binding written form of suretyship. So surety bond is a three-party indemnity contract. Again, it's a contract. The contract states that one party, the surety, is guaranteeing the performance of a second party, which is the principal, to a third party, obligee. It is also stated in a surety bond. It is also stated in a surety bond that the party guaranteeing the performance of the second party, meaning the surety who is guaranteeing the performance of the principal who is the second party, the surety will be liable in case the second party, the principal, fails to fulfill the bonded obligation. There must be an obligation between the principal and the obligee before there can be a bond. Now, we're going to get ahead of ourselves just a little bit and say the principal would be you, the living man. That's the principal. You're the primary everything. You know what I mean? You're the primary source of authority. Without you, nothing exists. From you derive all kind of derivative. Yeah, man. So you have you as the principal. The surety is the account. The surety is a fictional entity created to facilitate commerce, created for the fictional state to interface with. And then the obligee would be the government entity or agency. Now, if there must be an obligation between the principal, which is us as man and woman, and the state, which is the obligee, before there can be a bond, we need to know what is the obligation. From my due diligent research, the individuals, such as I, owes no duty to the state or the state government or even the citizens of that state, since he received nothing therefrom beyond the protection of his life and property. Why is that? Because that's where the contract lies. That's where their oath of office stipulate the terms and the condition to serve the Jamaican people well, yeah, man, and uphold the Constitution and the laws thereof. So that is the contract. So the individual receive nothing from the state beyond the protection of his life and property. His rights are such as existed by the law of the land long antecedent to the organization of any state. He owes nothing to the public so long as he does not trespass upon their rights. So there is no obligation to these people. There is no obligation to the state. There is no obligation to the public unless you trespass upon their right. And how can you trespass upon them right? If you break some kind of law that is there. Now, on the reverse side, they are accusing us of a traffic crime, of a criminal offense, where there is no victim that can verify damage, bodily damage, injury, or anything at all that would consider criminal, wrong, or unlawful. The police officers who are bringing the case, they in fact are the criminals. They in fact are breaking their oath of office. Andel Morgan, Constable, Senior Sergeant of Police, 100-man station, A. Edwards. First name was never disclosed. These guys have not presented a certified complaint, period. Their document was not sealed, meaning certificate of fact, having a seal where they swear an oath under penalty of perjury. These guys are outlaws in office. And the problem we have is that the whole system seems that way. The judiciary is aware, the court administrative division is aware of this sophisticated enslavement and entrapment, where the silent deception and inducement to perpetrate or to participate in the commercial fraud. It's a scheme. It's a foreign scheme instituted by these foreigners with their political entity known as Government of Jamaica. We wish not to be no citizenship, citizenry, or no part of that foreign construct. To be a part of the citizenship is to remove yourself from your inherent entitled rights bestowed to you from the creator of nature. So we don't want to delegate no authority to no other man or woman in this earth, specifically the politician that exists here on this island. I can't look and say none that is not criminal. None. They were created that way and they remain that way. A criminal enterprise, the government of Jamaica and all its agents, unapologetically. You now, agents, have to demonstrate that you're non-criminal. You have to demonstrate that. So we said the individual owes no duty to the state since he received nothing therefrom beyond the protection of his life and property. His rights are such as existed by the law of the land, which is a constitution, long anteceded to the organization of any state. He owes nothing to the public so long as he does not trespass upon their rights. That's it. Who are the parties involved in the bond? There are three parties to a surety bond: principal, obligee, and surety. One, principal. The principal, you, is a person who is primarily responsible for fulfilling the obligation stated in the bond. The principal is also the party who will apply for and pay for the bond. So you say, when them pull you off of the road, and you see them come with this, come here talk from first-hand knowledge experience. 3 police officers pull me one police officer was honorable in his conduct, and that is Officer Porter, respectable officer. Senior sergeant of police cannot read and write. Dunn slight rat, but probably was drunk out there on the street side. And he was a senior sergeant who took the initiative and took command and kidnapped me, falsely arrest me, unlawfully imprison me, and stole my property. And they did all of this unlawfully without constitutional authority or delegation in order to bring me in their legal process so they can attack my juristic person, which is my surety, where it is an account, where all my, you just said, monies are kept. And when we say surety, we are talking about the birth registration form, the way I call the birth certificate, and it connected to the Massachusetts Business Trust up there in United States of America, all the way up in Massachusetts, and it's called the FIDI Commissary. I've accessed the information to a point where I can demonstrate all of what I'm saying. So we now talk about no fiction this and no fiction that per se when it comes on to the finances and what is really going on. We have a criminal enterprise at work. And the criminal enterprise is in place for totally dominate, enslave, subjugate the people. Their whole mission is to fight, war, oppress, downpress, repress the people. And when I say people, I talk specifically the Indians. Because you have the Indians who are the original, and then you have all others. So, again, Indian paradigm, specifically West Indian. We don't have no one representing our interests or speaking on our behalf. The West Indians scatter all over the place and assimilate all over the place, and have other people appropriate them, and them lost and know themselves. But we are who we are. Yeah, man, truly great. When the principal enters into an indemnity agreement with the surety, the principal must indemnify the surety for the loss the surety will pay due to the principal's default. This principal now got default because we are show up at the court. The only contract is there is this notice of recognizance bond, which we're going to terminate. Whether granted under common law or through an indemnity agreement, the right of the surety to be subrogated is absolute. In other words, the surety is there to protect the principal. If there's any issues, the surety will substitute the role of the principal and bear all the responsibilities for the principal. They will not tell you these things. These devils out there. Subrogate. Substitute one person or thing for another in respect to a debt or insurance claim and any associated rights or duty. That's what subrogate means. Aside from fulfilling the obligation in the bond, the principal is required to perform other duties, some of which are listed below. Reimburse a surety for all expenses the surety paid for because the principal failed to fulfill the bonded obligation. We will not fail. Place funds with the surety in an amount sufficient to discharge any claim. 3. Allow the surety to hold the collateral deposited by the principal until the surety has been released of all its obligation. Allow the surety to hold the collateral deposited by the principal until the surety has been released of all its obligations. So you say you have rights as surety. The surety bond provide these rights. Now, number 2, obligee. The obligee is the beneficiary of the bond. Now, you see what's going on. The obligee is a beneficiary of the bond. The obligee is a party requiring or asking for the bond. So the obligee I try access. This is why I'm say it's fleecing. This is why I'm say it's commercial fraud. You understand? Because there is no full disclosure. So the obligee, which is a government or the state, is the party requiring, asking for the bond. It is the principal. If the principal defaults on the bonded obligation, the obligee will be paid for the loss it has sustained up to the maximum amount of the bond. What loss sustained? An obligee can be a business entity, government authority, or an individual. Let me go back over this again. The obligee is the beneficiary of the bond. So my notice of recognizance bond, there is a government entity, agency being the obligee, and I am the principal, and my account, what am I try access? You get me? What am I try access to gain the credits or the money from that account? That's the surety right there. So that's the three, you know, say people were involved in the in this thing. The obligee is the beneficiary of the bond. The obligee is the party requiring or asking for the bond. If the principal default on the bonded obligation, the obligee will be paid for the loss it has sustained up to the maximum amount of the bond. An obligee can be a business entity, government authority, or an individual. Thank you, Musa, if you have way I present this kind of information, because it's nowhere else to be found and share this way. We won't get it this way. So salute to the Most High. Salute to the mystic laws of the universe. Salute, yeah, to a great spirit. War out there. Nature herself. Yeah, man, because nature conform herself when we are carry the right attitude and manifest all our we need. Now we said just like the principal, the obligee must perform certain obligation as well, some of which are as follow. The obligee, the state as obligee must provide the surety with timely notice of any changes. For instance, if there are changes to the underlying contract, the obligee must inform the surety of such changes. The obligee must also inform the principal of his or her default in a timely manner. If the surety's rights have been prejudiced or injured because of the obligee failed to inform the surety on time of any changes, the surety may be released from its obligations. So any inconsistency, any inequitable conduct from the obligee should release the surety. Number three, surety. Surety is the entity. Remember, surety is the entity backing the bond, which in surety is the account, is where the money is. Backing the bond for the principal and guaranteeing payment to the obligee in a claim if a claim is made. Repeat. The surety is the entity or the bank backing the bond for the principal, myself, and the surety is guaranteeing payment to the government who are the obligee. So it is all about my surety. All them want is our endorsement, and then them play this Mickey Mouse crazy game because them not teach with this level in school. Through the bond, the surety is assuring the obligee, the state, that I, the principal, will fulfill the bonded obligation. The obligation is not that of the principal alone. Upon default of the principal, the surety incurs the obligation. Hence, the bonded obligation is known as joint and several liability. So you see what I go on here. The contract is really between the surety and the principal, and then the state play a third party intervener, middleman, because them impose their will upon the people. This is why, we have to make certain adjustments. Surety bond grants the surety three rights. that have been granted under common law, namely, 1, right of exoneration, meaning the surety has the right to require the principal to perform the obligation the principal is responsible for. Number 2, right of reimbursement. The surety has the right to be reimbursed by the principal. Number 3, right of subrogation. The surety has a right to stand in the shoes of the principal for its protection and to preserve funds necessary for the surety's reimbursement. So, at no time the living man should be entering into prison. At no time the living man should be being brutalized, being beaten, being stabbed. At no time the living man property is supposed to be confiscated like how the government of Jamaica and them agency. For some reason, these people just love my property. Me have an Indian knife with an ivory handle and all of these things, and the Chief Judge Chester Crooks stole my property. That Chief Judge Chester Crooks order the police them for keep my property when them order me for psychological evaluation. So now that we are get clarity, we're gonna light some fire upon all of these people. We don't have no respect for them because them not deserve none. Them not in honor. Them is outside of law. And we have to deal with them like outlaws. The very same way them are deal with criminal out there, we have to deal with these public officials the very same way like rogues in office, outlaws, and we should hunt them down and get them. Yeah, man. And that time is coming. The surety's obligation are as follows. Number 1, perform an independent investigation of a claim. That's what I've done. Number 2, pay obligee, which is a state. If the claim has been found to be valid, the claim can never be valid because all of them are criminal. Every single one of them are criminal. The surety has a duty to the principal to hold any payment to the obligee if defense exists. Defenses always exist and extant. If the surety makes a voluntary payment, this may release the principal from the indemnity agreement. Well, we can always submit any negotiable instrument and set satisfaction guarantee. But these criminal entities, criminal people in the government, criminal agents, it not work that way for them. You have to make sure you have all kind of documentation and then you publicize it, make the world see how filthy, rotten, and criminal our political system is, the political entity, the political agency, from the legislature to the judiciary, all the way down to them executive. Criminal will condemn you people. Now you have to rebut our presumption that you're all criminal. Demonstrate that you're not. Demonstrate that you're not criminals. Why are surety bonds required? Surety bonds are often required by law. Which law? Statutory law. They are needed in complex undertakings that involve risk. So you see why them come with these things? Because them are play games, In these kinds of situations, a third party is needed to ensure the fulfillment of the obligation. So the third party, who is the obligee, who is the state, who is perpetrating and committing the crime and the fraud. Oh gosh. Now them is, you know what I mean? Them are the third party needed to ensure the fulfillment of the obligation of one party to the other in accordance with mutual terms. This is atrocious. Some surety bonds are required to mitigate the loss that the obligee might incur due to the default of the principal. What loss the obligee can incur when the principal owes no duty to this criminal political entity masquerading, guising as a government body. It shall come to an end. We don't need for gonna far because we basically make the point where I try to make. You know what I mean? Examples of losses the obligee might protect themselves against or protect the general public against, including a business that fails to pay tax, that not have nothing to do with the free people, importers that fail to pay nothing to do with the free people. This is what I'm trying to say in people. We haven't been taught anything at all. Opposed to listen to authority, and the authority what them want we listen to is fictitious. You understand? It's non-existence. Yeah, man. It's a foreign, demonic, you know, system and entity where impose itself against our will. Yeah, man. And because them impose themselves against our will, it's like we cannot. There is no way for us to find our way out. Totally, totally enslaved. Totally enslaved. Yeah, man. Anyway, again, we just pass through for share this information. We kind of the outdoor and we truly I love the fact that, yeah, we can do this. And I like it. And really, I forgot start step outside of the house and step down in this area, especially them time of morning where we can facilitate and use a free internet service because man for live free. But these, the political entity known as the government of Jamaica and its agent, boy, because of them lack of, you know, certain knowledge or the incompleteness of the information required, them have the people, you know, crisscross. This is why the crime and the criminality is so rampant. However, we are give thanks and praise. Again, we are talk about bond and bandit servant and bandit. We have to apply ourselves so we can know and learn these things. Probably later today or tomorrow, I'm going to share some more information. Once it's all about contract, then we can challenge the contract. You understand? Yeah, man, we can challenge these contracts. Let us see if I can just preview and highlight a quick little. I love read and write, I'm not bright, Yeah, man, I'm not bright at all, but I like to apply myself. Yeah, man, I like to apply myself. Agents choose to violate the Constitution and perjure their oath of office by arbitrary kidnapping, false arrest, unlawful imprisonment, and theft of personal property without compensation or judicial review. The oath is the instrument of the contractual liabilities, duties, responsibilities, and obligation accepted by all public officers as specific performance contract for their governing public service authority and its agent during their commercial business or intercourse with the island people. Oath of office, because people don't know the Jamaica oath of office. The oath of allegiance say, I, whoever your public servant is, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, and I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica. You hear that? And I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibilities to the people of Jamaica. So help me God. So that is the oath of allegiance. Now, the official oath says, I, the government public servant, do swear I will well and truly serve the people of Jamaica in the office of, if a police, whatever the office is, so help me God. Now, the judicial oath says, I, judicial officer, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica, and I will uphold and defend the Constitution of Jamaica, and I will administer justice to all persons alike in accordance with the laws and usage of Jamaica without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God. So these are the oath we bind these public servants, and this is why we can bring a beautiful claim against them. We not forgot through them court because we not get no justice. But I keep telling you, so the moment you place a commercial lien on one, it going to set precedent for all the others. And we are take time showing us say, boy, we have it, but one thing so it's joke. This is why we give public notice, because we don't want to bring no hurt or we are trying to avoid it. However, it's unavoidable when you're dealing with a criminal empire, a criminal association, a criminal organization, a criminal political entity, period. The agents chose to ignore the no trespass sign, a US $1 million violation, Exhibit C, the certificate of fact of non-citizenship of Jamaica, Exhibit D, and the assertion of our West Indian nationality, heritage, and ancestry as Indian. Agents were duly notified of the liability they shall incur for trespassing by their unlawful action of kidnapping, false arrest, unlawful imprisonment, and theft of property of value under force and arms. They have initiated the $33 billion estate fee schedule, Exhibit E, also the common law trademark copyright claim violation of $500 per use, Exhibit F. And we said the assessment shall be presented. And then we have the laws where govern these things. So, and I like we sit and a twiddle with thumb, where they are work, and everything I got jump out there. You get me? Notice, declaration, demand, termination of liability to notice of recognizance by surety. Most of them never see or hear nothing like that. You understand? And these are the culprits. We have a D. Kelly, who is a court clerk. We have a senior sergeant, A. Edwards, and we have a constable, Andel Morgan. These three are the three perpetrators of heinous crime. Yeah, they're a part of a criminal organization and association. And if nobody don't bring this thing to bear, then it will go, unresolved. Yeah, man. So, it's just a few where we have a work with and a work on. So for us, it's not about, you know, just the talking. It's about learning, and it's not about bringing hurt or harm. It's about sharing the information so people can develop under the right thing. There is no way we can have laws in place and the people are totally unaware of these laws, and the system impose some kind of different kind of codes, rules and regulation that are not laws. This is why we have so much criminal here, because the criminals start, the authority was supposed to teach the people. This is where the criminality is. The criminal in the legislative office, in the legislative branch. The criminals permeate the judicial branch, and the criminal permeate the executive branch. So we have no escape. We have to just, extricate ourselves from this criminal political enterprise. Salute free people. I know I love that energy. I love it. The brave may fall but never yield, and we say bold and brave, firm and strong. Yeah, man, give thanks. Boy, I'm there for groom up early. I just step out and make a walk, and yeah, we all love it. Anyway, give thanks, people. Give thanks. Let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be acceptable unto thee, Most High. I. Give thanks and praise.